Want to see something cool? It's my schedule. If you look closely, you might see that tiny, minuscule detail that is completely empty. I don't have a lot going on. When I don't have a lot going on, I get real antsy. I guess I could try picking up a new hobby. I've always wanted to try roller skating.
Could just talk about idle animations.
Video games are cool. You can play them or you cannot. Sure, I could press a button, but I'd rather just sit here and watch Shantae dance.
I have a lot of free time.
Here's the thing. Video games are incredibly complicated. So much work goes into every little aspect to make sure the game is as good as possible. Unless you don't care, but the high-quality games with actual care and attention put into them do a fantastic job of immersing you in the world of the game. So many little details in the background and character designs that you probably wouldn't notice unless you were really looking for them. Sure, Nintendo didn't need to go in and give Mario individual hairs, but they did it anyways.
It's been 4 years and I still don't know if that was necessary or not.
But Drew, I can hear you scream, who gives a shit? Stop looking at Mario's hair and play the damn game! And to that I say, it's my free time and I get to pick what to do with it.
And I'm gonna look at Mario's hair, damn it.
And also, what are you talking about? Sure, you might not pay attention to the little things, but they're still important. First off, it shows that developers care enough about the games they're working on to add in these little details for people to find and appreciate. And secondly, they add personality to the game you're playing. Saying who cares suggests that every game could look like this and be considered good. These little blink and you miss it details make the worlds of the games you play feel real and lived in. And of course there are details like this that can be found in the character you play as too. And also when you stop playing.
Idle animations, because why not? I got a free afternoon and nothing better to do. Why not talk about fucking idle animations?
An idle animation is, get this, an animation that plays when your character is idle.
Shut the fuck door!
Idle animations exist to add more personality to a character. They're a super small detail that you can go an entire game without seeing once, but they're there to just make a character feel more alive and expressive. Just like how little details in the background make the game world itself more believable. Whether it's something like a yawn, or just a quick look around, or even... They're just there to breathe a little life into a character. But who cares? I can hear you scream again, and sure, it may just be a subtle thing, but when you play a game that doesn't have any idle animations in it, it feels the game feeling empty and your character feeling robotic and lifeless. He's just standing there. Do something!
Furthermore... Actually... No, let's start with Sonic.
So when home video game consoles first hit the scene, the games looked like this. Incredibly simple. Home consoles just barely had enough power to make things even resemble an actual world or place or thing. But then even with the Nintendo Entertainment System, while there is an obvious improvement and there are actual graphics now, there still wasn't a lot of space for the devs to add the main character fidgeting around or anything. Like if I just leave Samus here, she's not going to do anything, but I also don't care that she's not going to do anything. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Sega comes crashing in with this bright blue bastard. The selling point of Sonic was that he was fast, flashy, and actually had a personality. He was reckless and impatient and had a whole lot of attitude, which is not something you really saw with video game characters at this point. And sure, you could see that all over the marketing, but that really only works if you can also see that attitude in the actual game. So you boot up Sonic 1 and BAM! Right away you can see Sonic jump out at you, wagging his entire hand. That's not how you do it.
Like this?
And then you get dropped into Green Hill Zone and you see the vibrant colors, you hear the catchy music, and your first instinct is to go, go, go. And wow! Just look at him go! So you get through Green Hill Zone and you're thinking,
that was awesome.
And then you get to Marble Zone.
What the hell happened here?
And suddenly you're just waiting around, riding on these stupid blocks, waiting for something, anything to happen, and that's when you see it.
Well, this sounds so bad, not even he wants to be here.
And so began a revolution of making characters do things when they're not doing anything. And as technology progressed, developers were able to add more animations to make characters more varied and expressive. He plays with his pack doll like it's a soccer ball!
Idle animations really are just a little detail that isn't super impactful or anything, but that's what makes them so easy to appreciate. They didn't need to exist, but without them, games just wouldn't feel the same. They're just a quick, bite-sized way to show off a character's personality. Here, I think I got a game I can pull out of my ass to demonstrate what I'm talking about. That'll work!
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is one of the biggest crossovers of gaming characters ever. There are so many different characters in this game from so many different games, franchises, and even companies. Which means this game is a real easy place to look at how a bunch of different video game characters are portrayed. Smash Bros. Director Masahiro Sakurai wanted to ensure that each character felt like you were truly playing as that character. And sure, you can see that in their moveset, but there's also a bunch of tiny details that also contribute to that, including their idle animations. Like here we have Mario. Right off the bat, you can see he's bouncing on his toes, ready for action. And aside from that, you can also see him adjust his hat and quickly shift back and forth.
Ooh, wow, that's so interesting!
Okay, so Mario on his own might not be very exciting, but that's sort of the point. He's designed as an all-around character with a very basic moveset, nothing too flashy so he could be a good starting point for new players. That and he doesn't have much of a personality to begin with. But then you move on to a character like Donkey Kong. His idle animations perfectly capture his personality. He's a pretty chill, kinda goofy guy that could also definitely rip your arms off if he wanted to.
Yeah, Donkey Kong scares me a little bit. Sure, he might be fun to hang out with or something, but if he just randomly showed up behind me, I would shit myself!
And then there's characters like Ridley and Bowser who are big and ferocious reptiles, and their idle animations reflect their aggressive and monstrous personalities, flexing and growling and all that. And then on the other hand, you got characters like Pac-Man, who's just happy to be here. He even strikes the iconic thumbs up pose. Then there's Pikachu, just sort of being a rat and doing rat things. And Pichu, who also does rat things, but happier and cuter. And then with a character like King K. Rool, you can see how he's fierce and aggressive, and then at the same time, pompous and prideful. There's also Pyra and Mithra, whose idle animations perfectly capture their opposing personalities. Pyra's more calm and collected, while Mithra's more cocky and headstrong. And then there's Kirby. Just sort of looks like he would rather be doing anything else, and does not look like his head's in the game. You know, classic Kirby stuff.
Now, these are just a few examples, but they show how even in just a couple seconds of animation, you can understand a lot about a character's personality. But I mean, this is just Smash Bros. There are so many other games out there with idle animations that just ooze charm I could go through. I could be here all afternoon. So...
He's just out here doing cat things. Look, she literally collapses in the air to catch a bug or something. I don't know. It's incredible, though. And look, Tora and Bobby are just dancing. I know they only have like 5 brain cells between them, but still, this is awesome. Mario's just dancing on the world map. This is so pointless, and I love it. In Super Mario Odyssey, Mario has different idle animations based on what area he's in. If he's hot, he'll fan himself, and if he's cold, he'll shiver. That's so cool! And same goes with Pokemon Sword and Shield. Too bad the rest of the game sucks. He plays with this pack dot like it's a soccer ball! Okay, I might not be doing anything, but I don't know. I just like watching Dusty walk around and meow. I don't even need to say anything. All of the idle animations in this game are perfect and have so much character in them. Tails falls asleep standing up, he's so bored.
Okay, I think I made my point. Speaking of falling asleep though, you ever just be in public and...
So a weird trope with idle animations is to have the character just fall asleep, or at least just lay down after a while. Like, okay, I get it, you're bored, but come on! Your girlfriend is being assaulted by a giant turtle. You don't have time for a beauty rest!
So we've seen how idle animations can improve a game, but what about when you take them away?
Well, I sort of already talked about it, but that was more about old games and how they couldn't really do idle animations. The problem is that there are still modern games that definitely can do idle animations, and they still don't give their characters idle animations. And I mean, for some games it makes sense. I can excuse it. The Night doesn't need idle animations. They're an empty, emotionless void. I mean, it probably wouldn't have hurt to give them a little fidget or something, but I also understand. But come on, you're not going to give Sonic idle animations. The character famous for being expressive doesn't get any idle animations. Awesome, makes perfect sense. He's not even breathing! Oh, jeez, Mario, not you too. You're just gonna stand there? You got nothing for me?
is ridiculous! You're telling me if I just sit here and Pac-Man, nothing will happen? Touché.
Although one type of game that makes perfect sense to not have any idle animations is first-person games. In other games, you're only controlling the character, so they could do whatever they want in the same place and it won't matter when you want them to start moving again. But in a first-person game, you essentially are the character. So you can have the character do anything wild or things will be all out of whack when you want to start playing again. Like, you couldn't have the character do a big yawn because if the player wants to move mid-yawn, then the camera would be stuck wherever the character's head was facing. Also, it's not as easy to appreciate idle animations in first person, since most of the time you can't actually see your character's body because the developers want to make sure you can see everything around you. So you couldn't really see the animations anyways. So for first person games, I completely understand why there aren't any idle animations.
But outside of that, there's no excuse. Idle animations are such a necessary part of video games. Sure, they might not be super noticeable or even seen by everyone, but that's what makes them so important. The more tiny details there are in a game, the easier it is to appreciate the game and the time and effort that went into it. Something as simple as an idle animation shows that developers cared about what they were making, and, as a result, will cause you, as the player, to care more about what you were playing. Whoa! How was that? Surely ranting about idle animations was enough to kill an afternoon. Surely the day's over and now I can go to bed.